All right, so what are we looking at today? We're looking at some of the top games for youth these days. So Minecraft has 112 million monthly players, so it's in the front of the three we're looking at. And following right behind it is Roblox, and right behind that is Fortnite. Now, Roblox is the oldest, and Fortnite is the newest. But, obviously Minecraft has had it's been very popular. It's had a really huge cultural impact, really on the world, not just the US, but Minecraft is still in the front. Okay, so we are not in a unique time as far as kids doing controversial, how do I put this? Kids doing activities that are controversial to parents. Okay, this is nothing new. I read an article once about how chess was controversial back in the 1800s, which is really interesting. There's these parents that were worried about these kids playing chess and not going outside, and it was like, okay, so we are not in new territory in a certain sense. But on the other hand, we are in a new territory because all of the previous, if you just limit it to video games, the previous video games that children were dealing with were not necessarily they did not necessarily have the problems that the current games do. Again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're multiplayer these days. So, all right, why do children like to play these games? Why do the youth? I shouldn't say children. Why do the youth enjoy playing these games? Well, we have youth here right now, so I'll have to ask them. But one of the reasons is that we live in a very structured society, and video games give youth a chance to escape from all of that. And it's kind of like, they get to control their world, and there's also a sense of danger. Although now there's a real sense of danger, obviously, with the pandemic we're in. But historically speaking, this is an interesting time where kids are finding an outlet in video games. And, socializing is a huge part of these games, but that's also one of the reasons why there are issues that might pop up. Controversial things we want to look at. So what are the common things of these three games? Well, they all have, and not even just these three games. These three games I picked because they're so popular, but there's usually some sort of friend system where you can, quote unquote, friend people that are in the game and make a connection with them. And there's also usually a lot of content on YouTube. And this can be an issue because, YouTube has so much content on there. You could have a kid who wants to go and learn about a game, and they get exposed to, content that they shouldn't be looking at. So you have to keep an eye on that, and just keep in mind there's a lot of gamers are using YouTube as a source of information. So what do you want to specifically look for if you know someone who's playing these games, or just a general youth these days? What do you want to look for? Well, parents might be concerned about anything PvP, and what that is player versus player. Now, I'm going to go into each one of these games and how it relates to that, but PvP, that's a term that's thrown around that you're going to want to know. Also, microtransactions, that's the idea of these games using, a lot of these games are free to play, but there's a lot of ways that players can spend their parents' money. So you want to keep an eye on your credit card bill and just make sure that there's not a lot of expenses adding up. Okay, what else? Chat. That's the big thing, chat. People are worried about chat. Now, there's a lot of people out there on the internet, okay? And they're not limited to, it's not like they can't get into these games. So there are dangerous people that are on these games. All right, and so I'm going to give you some tips to how to deal with that. But just keep in mind that one of the strategies that a malicious person will use is to initiate a chat within a game and then try and get the player to go on a different social media source. So, you know, say they start talking with them on Minecraft or Roblox, say they're having a chat with them, and they say, hey, let's talk on Facebook Messenger, and then they have the more information. It's just a more dangerous situation. So you want to make sure that the player is staying on the platform. But with all that said, chat is just something that's a part of games. If you've ever played the Words with Friends, which is kind of like online Scrabble, that has a chat option. I mean, we're on a Zoom meeting right now. It has chat. So chat isn't inherently bad by itself, but it's just something to keep in mind that, it's not really controlled in a lot of ways. All right, so I'm going to start right out with Roblox, your favorite. What is Roblox? You can think, so Roblox isn't one thing. That's a common misconception that I hear. Roblox is not a quote-unquote game. There's millions and millions of games, and all of them are user-generated. Okay, so Roblox is a platform. It's kind of like Netflix, but for games. In a lot of ways, more like YouTube, because it's user-created games. But of course, in YouTube, it's videos instead of games. Now, with Roblox, it's free, but like I mentioned before, there are the options to spend money. It's called Robux. So check your credit card bill. It's rated E for everyone, ages 10 plus, but that's only Xbox. Most of the games on Roblox that you're going to play on PC or Mac or even iPad, they're not rated because they're user created. So you just want to make sure you know what the player is playing, but there's a lot of variety. And there's a lot of quality. There's a lot of solid games on Roblox that are user created. And again, it's free as long as you're not paying for all those Robux. One of the best things about Roblox is because it's a user created game platform, they allow users to create games. So there's an app called Roblox Studio, and I got a link here that I mentioned before. You can click right on and you can use Roblox Studio. Now, the thing about Roblox Studio is it's a game engine, and it's a really good way to get into the field of designing games. So yeah, can't recommend it enough. It's a free game engine that you can make games with that you can publish on Roblox. So for kids, anyone that's into digital design or creativity, I would check it out. It's free. Now, Roblox has gotten a lot of heat in the past couple of years for all of the online activity with kids and the chat system. So they actually have a pretty extensive list of resources for parents of children who want to use Roblox. So you might want to look at, I have the link here for the a guide, all kinds of different features and restrictions that you can implement for Roblox. So you're in good hands there. And I accidentally just clicked on it. Okay, so moving along. Minecraft. Who hasn't heard of Minecraft? So Minecraft is actually a combination word. It's a combination of mine and craft. So players mine, they quote unquote mine for items, generally speaking. That's chopping up blocks and gathering resources, and then with those resources they craft them into different objects that they can use within the world. So that's the Minecraft explanation. And the closest thing, the best way I can explain what Minecraft is it's similar to Lego. Like the Minecraft universe is similar to the Lego universe in a lot of ways, because there's just so many different branches. It's not one particular thing. Minecraft is not one particular thing. It's many different things and many different games. Now, one of the biggest one of the biggest features of Minecraft is the survival mode. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But no matter what mode you're playing with, it's all based on, it's all built around the idea of putting square blocks together in a 3D world. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's like a 3D design program. So it's good in that sense. You're learning 3D design skills. Now, this Minecraft's not free. It's available on a variety of different platforms, mobile. If you're going to get the desktop version, it's about $27, and it's rated E 10+, and all kinds of different platforms can play Minecraft. There's even an education edition that's used by schools, so there's a lot of positive features there. And you can even mod. So if you were into coding, you could actually code parts of the game and have what's called mods or modifications to the game code. And one of the best things about Minecraft is it fosters a sense of creativity. So you can build things. It's like playing with Legos. And it's also really good for organizational skills, especially in what's called survival mode, where you have to gather resources and craft them. It's really good for the mind because you have only so many slots, you have only so much time, and you have this world that you got to survive in, and there's actually a lot of good learning skills that you can learn. One of the problems with Minecraft is so good that it can be highly addicting, and I speak from experience where this need to survive, it's like core in humans, and it will tickle that core feeling because it's just, it's so much fun. But it's so much fun that it can become a problem. So you're gonna want to make sure that you're taking breaks when you're playing this game. There's also this idea of what's called griefing, and that's where if you're in a multiplayer environment and you're building something, someone else can, basically a bully can come over and smash what you've been building. It's like smashing someone's sandcastle. That's called griefing, and that's an issue. So bullying can be an issue if you're playing online. But I'm going to give you some resources where you can play this game offline. And of course, there's violence. No matter what mode you play, there's a relative level of violence. I mean, in the survival mode, in order to survive, you have to eat. In order to eat, a lot of times you have to fight an animal. So you just want to keep that in mind. Now, third on our list is Fortnite. Fortnite is all the rage, and it's quickly rising up the ranks. It's only been around for 5 or so years, but it's quickly replacing Minecraft in terms of popularity. Now, it's definitely it's definitely had a cultural impact. And one of the biggest parts of Minecraft is the battle royale part of Fortnite. And what that is if you've ever seen Hunger Games, it's basically survival. Not survival like Minecraft, like where you're trying to survive in an environment. It's survival against other players. You want to talk about PvP, talk about Fortnite. It's PvP to the max, player versus player. So Battle Royale, this is an up-and-coming genre. Started with what's called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG for short, and then Fortnite, and now there's a newer one, Apex Legends. These are some of the biggest Battle Royale games. And again, it's all like Hunger Games, where there's a group of players that are dropped into a world, and then they have to battle to try and survive. So another free-to-play game like Roblox, available on a variety of different platforms. This one's rated teen, so I believe the teen rating is 13+. So you got to be 13 in order to play it. Lots of guns. I mean, it's cartoon violence, but lots of guns. You got to keep that in mind. And with that said, it does have a lot of the building aspects of Minecraft, which is kind of cool, because players are not only there's not only the PvP part of it, but there's a really great creative part of it where you have to create defenses, and you have to actually, it takes a lot of brain power. You're trying to strategically win. So there are some creative parts of Fortnite. It's probably one of the reasons why it's become so big. And it does foster a sense of teamwork. But it also does foster some trash talking. So again, you're going to want to pay attention to the chat and look at some of the parental features, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So one of the best ways that I can explain, one of the best pieces of advice I can give you, any parent for who's interested in what their children are playing, is to actually, look at what the kid is playing and take an interest in it. And the fact that you're here shows that you're already there. So this isn't really, I'm preaching to the choir here. But you want to be interested in what particular game the kid is playing, and you want to try it for yourself. You want to personally evaluate the game, see how you feel about it. Try it, download, install it. If nothing else, you'll be able to troubleshoot the game if the kid is having problems. So that's a piece of advice. And I mentioned it before, but really, no matter what digital activity you're doing, you're going to want to take regular breaks, but especially with these games. With something like Minecraft, I've played all of these games. Minecraft is by far the most addicting. Maybe it's my own personality, but I just feel like Minecraft is really the one to look out for because it is just so much fun. Too much fun. Now, like I said, this is a PDF document that you can download, and these are all clickable links. And I have, for each game, I have the parental restrictions and controls that they have available for you right here. I also have the, if you want to avoid multiplayer altogether, for Roblox and Minecraft, I have some resources for that. Fortnite is online only. There's just no getting around it. If you're going to play Fortnite, if a player's playing Fortnite, they're playing online. So there's really no getting around that. Now, you could, in a way, play like an offline version of online if you had what's called a LAN, which stands for Local Area Network. And so you could set up a LAN, what's called a LAN party, and in each of these games, and I have the links for how to do that, and play in an online environment, but with people you know. So you'd have to know other players or have other computers in the house, but it's a way to, maintain a level of safety. And for parents, if you're interested in monitoring what your children are doing, I have a list of services here. That was a decent list that you're going to want to look at to see, no matter what device your child is on, how you can, stay aware, know what's going on. Now, besides for these three games, here are a variety of games that I would recommend for youth to play that have a lot of positive aspects. There's Terraria, which is like a 2D version of Minecraft. Lichess, which is online chess. Can't recommend that enough. If I was younger, I would definitely be playing it. I mean, I'm older and I'm playing it, but Lichess is great. There's also Super Mario Maker 2, which is a way to make Mario levels. Kerbal Space Program. It's a fun game where it's like a physics simulator where you're creating rockets. Really good for engineering thinking. And again, all the links are here. You can click right on this. There's also Cuphead, which is a challenging game, but it's a really cool, it's a fun game that's innocent enough and is all hand-drawn. So that's another recommendation. Okay, now Q&A. So what I'm going to do is unmute everyone, and I'm going to drink some more water because I just spoke. I just said a lot in a short amount of time. So again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A. Feel free to talk right now. I can hear you. There's only 4 of us here, or 5 of us. So do we have any questions?
Are we getting this, the PDF in our email, or do I have to download it now from the chat?
I would download it, although that's a good question. I did not email this. I would download it right now. Let me just say that. But in the future, that's a great point. I will look at emailing it.
Okay.
Oh. Was that you, Susanna?
That was me, yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm just downloading now.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think it's like 13 megabytes. Is it raining where you are?
No, the sun is shining now.
Ah, nice. Yeah, it's a little cloudy. I'm up in Poughkeepsie.
Okay. No,
But,
we had that tornado warning
oh, really?
around 3 o'clock, and now the skies have cleared out and clouds are gone. So,
Great. Well, that's kind of weird.
save. All right. I think I have to save that.
Okay. Oh, is there a way to limit games available in Roblox? So you're going to want to look at that page. I want to say yes, but let's see. I had a page there for parental restrictions in Minecraft, in Roblox. Let me see if I can copy it. Copy link. I'll try and paste it right here. Yeah, I would go straight from the PDF. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Maybe this. Oh, I know. Here, I'll get the right link. Right. All right. Disregard the first link. This is the link you want, and that would give you all the information for all the ways that you can protect Minecraft. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of Roblox games that allow you to kill actual people. Yeah, so that's the thing with Roblox. There's definitely games out there, and that's what you're talking about, PvP. So, so yeah, I would look at because, like I said, they have an in-depth they have an in-depth parental control section, and I would look through that. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head if you can limit games to what particular ones, but I will look into that.
Safely.org.
And okay. Okay, do we have any other questions? Can kids, okay, here we go. Can kids play on LAN with their friends, or is it just limited by physical boundaries of the house? It is not limited to the physical boundaries of the house. Usually you can set up it depends on the platform, but you can set up a lot of times either a password protected server or a particular server where you would have to know the IP address. And again, I have all of the guides for how to do that are right here on this page where you're looking for the LAN. And just keep in mind, it's easier on some games. It's more easy on some games than others. So, so that might be a factor in deciding what game you're interested in. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so wrapping up. So again, my name is Austin. I want to thank everyone for coming. We have a couple more seconds, so if you have anything more, pop it in the chat. Otherwise, I have all of the resources I talked about on this PDF, and I also have our social media links if you want to follow what's going on in the library, and the website itself has all the information. But there's lots going on right now. The full-time library staff is working from home, and we got a lot of content out there, so I'd definitely check out the website. I have something in the chat here. It says, how to set time limits on Fortnite. What I would probably do if I was a parent and wanted to set a time limit on Fortnite, what I would do is find software that will set a timer on the computer itself. Now, Fortnite might have the control of controlling. They might have a way of controlling how much time the player plays Fortnite itself. Again, I don't know off the top of my head whether or not you can put a timer on Fortnite, but I know there's apps that you can put on no matter what device you're on a set time on the particular device, so it'll lock it after a certain amount of time. Timer. Again, I'll have to look into that. This will not be obviously the last parenting class that I'll do. That I'll talk about apps that kids use. So as we move along, I'll have more information. Can you propose any specific software for device? Now, I put on one of these pages, I have a link for monitoring software. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in the chat right now, and this is directly from the PDF, but this is a list of monitoring software. Now, it's not necessarily a timer, so let's see. Timer for Fortnite. Let me check this out right now. Yeah, nothing's popping up. Again, I'd have to look into that, and I will, but... Oh, what device do you have, by the way? Looking for a timer software for a particular device. All right, so let's say if you were on a Windows machine and you wanted to have a timer. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull up right here. Make this bigger. All right. Well, I'm having trouble with that. But let me just see real quick. Real quick before we go, Windows timer software. Let's see, right off the bat, pulled up top 10 timer apps for Windows to boost your productivity. So, yeah, I can't recommend these without going through them, but you know, I will keep that in mind for the future, and if I find anything, I will send it out. Okay. All right, and let's see. I got a couple more things here. Given the fact that COVID-19 is causing more screen time for teens, what's considered reasonable for gaming time? I would say a half an hour, but a kid would say 5 hours. So I'd say a compromise, you know, an hour. Kid can play an hour. And that's not necessarily an hour for the whole day, just an hour at a time. All right, play for an hour. Go do something else for a few hours. Go have lunch. Stop playing. Get outside. Do some. Well, don't get outside now, but get out. Get away from the computer. And that's not necessarily just for the game. I'd say just for computing in general. You know, limit your time there. So maybe a couple hours a day, depending on the kid. I mean, that's my own opinion. So I am a parent, but my kids are very, very young. So in a lot of ways, you would know more than I would. So let's see. Totally unrelated question. Has Zoom updated, or do you have a special account? Been on Zooms before, but I don't have the usual audio controls and can't copy and paste from chat. So I don't know if you were on one of the library Zoom programs, one of the library Zoom programs, but Zoom has updated. And so that could explain the issue with the audio. And okay, yeah, so maybe our softwares, maybe we have a different Zoom license than what you're used to. But
hi, Rhonda. Helena Mariscott, how are you?
So so that could explain the discrepancy there.
I'm calling in regards to Fortnite.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate your questions and interest. And next week we're going to be looking at e-commerce and offline activities. So I hope to see you there. And I'm going to end the meeting. So everyone enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Austin.